So why care about Lightning? Why should you want it to succeed? Why should you use it? Why should you spend time learning about it and testing it? Is it enough to just sit on a pile of digital rock and assume that you'll be rewarded with a lifetime of riches? Well, Bitcoin has had and continues to have scaling challenges, scaling hurdles it needs to get over. And this is because the data structure that contains transactions, the block, is limited. Depending on the definition you use, it's either 1 megabyte or 4 megabytes. And this translates to between 2,000 to 4,000 transactions per block. We can go to a block explorer like mempool.space, and we can see that there's 2,000 transactions in this block, 2,000, 3,500, 2,000, 1,500. So generally 2,000 to 4,000 transactions per block. Block happens on average every 10 minutes. So let's compare that to existing centralized payment systems. The Lightning Network white paper from Poon and Dreiger in 2016 states that Visa achieved 47,000 transactions per second during peak time of the 2013 holidays. This translates to 28 million transactions every 10 minutes, and that compares to Bitcoin's 2,000 to 4,000 transactions every 10 minutes. So 2,000 to 4,000 compared to 28 million, we can see that that's orders of magnitude greater on a centralized payment system. So the question that the Bitcoin community wrestled with the block size wars is, well, can Bitcoin scale to support Visa, MasterCard levels of transactions? And the conclusion was that to achieve Visa-like capacity on the Bitcoin network, I'm quoting from the white paper again here, isn't feasible today. No home computer in the world can operate with that kind of bandwidth and storage. If Bitcoin was to replace all payments, it would result in outright collapse of the Bitcoin network, or at best, extreme centralization of Bitcoin nodes and miners to the only ones who could afford it. So this presents a challenge in that if you want Bitcoin adoption to scale globally and have billions of people using it on a daily, weekly basis, you really should care about the solutions that are getting built to try to achieve that. And even at the base level, if all you care about is your stack and price appreciation, you should understand that price upside in future is strongly linked to how Bitcoin can scale to as many people as possible, right? If the vast majority of the world's population can't use it, well, they can't invest in it and they can't transact in it. So it's going to be useless in that scenario for the majority of the world's population. So Lightning provides a potential solution to get over the next scaling hurdle, right? We don't know to what extent Lightning will take us to that final solution of having the world's population being able to transact in it on a daily basis, but it certainly gets us to a place that is much healthier than the place of only being able to support 2,000 to 4,000 transactions every 10 minutes. So that's why you should care about Lightning. There are alternatives to Lightning that are less mature, and we need all the help we can get to try and get Bitcoin to scale to a global basis, and it won't just be Lightning, but Lightning, at least for me, is a critical part of that. If I haven't convinced you that Lightning is important from a scaling perspective, Lightning also has other benefits, right? It provides instantaneous payments. So if you compare on-chain transactions to Lightning, on-chain transactions are confirmed on average every 10 minutes. They don't have instant finality. You have to wait 1 to 6 confirmations depending on how conservative you want to be, whilst Lightning can confirm instantaneously. You don't have this eventual finality that you have on chain waiting for confirmations. It's not a privacy panacea by any means, but it does have privacy benefits compared to on-chain. The only people that learn about a payment going through the Lightning Network are the nodes along the route that are routing that payment. Any nodes that aren't part of that route don't learn about a payment being routed through the Lightning Network. And the flip side to the scaling argument is that because Lightning can support many more transactions than on-chain can, fees are generally going to be a lot lower on Lightning than they are going to be on-chain. So we've seen transaction fees go up to $50 in 2017. Recently in May 2023, we saw transaction fees go up to around $29. So certainly during fee spikes, Lightning is going to be very useful. And if you imagine a future where more and more people want to use Bitcoin, want to invest in it, want to transact in it, then you're certainly going to expect that there may not only be fee spikes, there may be sustained periods where fees are much higher than they are today. So if you're wanting to send $100 or $200 in Bitcoin, if the fees are $50, that's taking up a huge amount of the amount you want to send, and so you'll probably want to transfer $100 to $200 on Lightning rather than on chain if fees are up to $50 per transaction. So lots of reasons to care about Lightning. I do not think it is enough to sit on your pile of digital rock and just assume that there will be a Bitcoin standard. Sitting on a digital rock is not a Bitcoin standard. The gold standard wasn't people sitting on attractive piles of jewelry. It was economies and financial systems being built on top of deposits of gold and being linked to the value of those deposits of gold. And so a Bitcoin standard is not just sitting on Bitcoin, it is building a financial system and an economy on top of those Bitcoin deposits.